Hello comic book fans, here's Earl Grey. Alejandro Jodorowsky created, together with Möbius, the most important European science fiction comic, the Incal. And I've already shown you these comics in my first video about the Jodoverse. But Jodorowsky developed this universe further and farther with other artists. There was a prequel to the Incal and a sequel, along with spin-off series to the Metabarons, which is gorgeous, and there's Kastaka belongs somehow into this series. And there is another spin-off about the technopriests, and this comic is the topic of today's panellogy. It was drawn by Zoran Janjetov and published, the German version, by EHPA Verlag. The English and French version was published by Humanoids. It was an 8-issue series, each issue a European album-size format with more than 40 pages, so the whole tome clocks in at around 400 pages. It's the life story of this guy here, Albino, and his little pet friend, mascot, actually a part of his personality, as it soon turns out. He writes his biography, even though he's in his prime. He's just 100 years old, but his species can become more than 400 years old. When he was a boy, he wanted to become a computer game designer, and he has a really talent for these virtual worlds. And here's his mother. We come in a second to her life story, which is somehow the other story thread that goes on through this book. Yeah, he is very savvy in these artificial worlds, which helps him to deal with this jerks of bosses in this game production company, in which he is kept more as a slave than anything else. But he survives, and this much I can spoil you. He becomes the supreme technopriest. Here's a panel where we can view into this game production company. And here's Albino, where he plays one of the games, and he gets completely absorbed into these artificial worlds, where he is somehow more able to perform than in the real world. It's a bit like in that movie Tron back then. And coming to think of that, this book would be a very good template for a movie. Technopriests, the title is really interesting because it contains the two aspects of the technopriest, these religious aspect of a religious leader. And somehow this is a religion, a substitute religion of sorts. And they believe in technology, somehow to worlds that don't go too well with each other. And here the technology is so far developed, the difference between wonders and technical achievements is somehow blurred. And that's where these technopriests come in as the leader of these technical wonders. And we have crazy ideas from Jodorowsky all over the place, and on each page you have fantastic views of a future world along with crazy life forms. And done in this combination of classic hand drawing with computer effects. And you know that I'm not the biggest fan of computer altered graphics, but in this comic it works pretty well. You get the best of both worlds, the authenticity of hand-drawn graphics, along with the perfection and the possibilities of all computer-altered images. Yeah, some panels really need their time to wrap your eyes and your brain around them. And it goes on all over and through this comic. And this is an embodiment of the ectoplasm of Albino, who fights in this form against these virtual monsters in the computer. And as the line between technological achievements and religion is blurred, the line between reality and virtuality is blurred. Not just in these computer games Albino is playing, but in the reality too, because Albino learns more and more to shape the world with his mind. And this is one of the themes that is going on through Jodorowsky's comics, that your mind, just with the force, the power of your mind, you can change the world. A bit like the Force, this Jedi thing in Star Wars. But that's just kindergarten in comparison to the crazy stuff Albino does in this comic. There's a second storyline that goes through the technopriests, and that is his mother who wants to revenge her raping just in the start of the book. She was raped by 3 guys, and she wants to castrate them, and there are some scenes of tried castration and actual castration in this book. So Jodorowsky seems to be pretty obsessed with this trope. For an example, just take this panel where the future technopriests are castrated by this machinery in celebration ritual. It's hilarious. But it's just one of the many crazy ideas in this comic. As you can see, each panel opens up different aspects of this crazy world. But it's not just the world that is shown us here. It's very much deals with the psychic motives of the main personnel. Most of them, of course, albino, who has done horrific things to become the supreme technopriest. And a bit like John Defoe, he has the possibilities to be a hero, to be real good, and he wants to be that. But the outer circumstances don't allow him always to be that hero. Albino has to kill, he has to torture, he has to murder, to be able to come to his final goal. And really, it's open to discussion if his target, his noble target, in the end, justifies all the means that it takes to come to this final target. He wants to save a huge group of people and lead them to a world where human relationships are more important than technological achievements. This is his noble target, and somehow he betrays the ideals of the technopriests. And there's obviously a confrontation between his own ideals and the ideals of the technopriests. The whole comic here is a trip in each meaning of the word. You can hardly do anything wrong here. Maybe if you're totally allergic to his esoteric ideas and all these ectoplasms that become reality and so. This is maybe a critical point. And the finish, I'm really curious what other people think about the finish. But overall, it's a trip. It's a beautiful, colorful trip that will bend your mind in ways that not every comic can, I think. And of course, it's fun. So you can't do anything wrong. Highly recommend it. The Technopriests in my first video about, my second video actually, about the Jodoverse. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.